Hi again, this is video part 2. We'll be continuing talking about data flow diagram. In our first video, we drew a context diagram for a certain case study. In this video, we'll be drawing the level 0 diagram for the same case study. So we had the example of drawing a food ordering system, okay, for a fast food restaurant inside university called Slimburger. We identified in the context diagram the different external entities that needs to deal with the system. They were customers, kitchen chef, restaurant manager, and the bank. We also identified the relationship between the system and the different external entities, and which are actually our data flows. And we drew our context diagram, which was a customer, kitchen chef, restaurant manager, and a bank. And then we identified the different data flows, order, credit card payment, and so on. Okay, so how does it actually work? The customer will be ordering some food. The system will forward it to the send it to the kitchen chef. When the customer will be paying using credit card or a debit card, the system will be sending a withdrawal request to the bank. The bank will approve it, and then the system will prepare a receipt for the customer. Different orders will be placed into a report with all of the inventory used to prepare these orders, and these will be sent as management reports to the restaurant manager. Okay, now what's the purpose of a level 0 diagram? The level 0 diagram we will need to remove this process here and replace it by different processes where each process will be doing a certain task of all of these tasks that needs to be done by the system. Okay, so let's start. Okay, first we'll check that the first task is when the whole system will start to act, when the customer will give an order. Okay, so what the system is supposed to do when the customer will give an order, the system will handle this order and pass it to the kitchen chef. Okay, so it will be sending the order to the kitchen chef. I can see that this all related to the order. So I can create, it's just the system takes order and send the food order to the kitchen chef. It's all about the order. I can see that takes order from customer to deliver to the chef, as I mentioned, and then it's all about handling the orders. That I need to create a process called the handle order process, and then put all of these data flows to it, and then it will be like that: handle order process, and then order going into the as an input for this process, and food order going out of this process. Okay, before I continue, I need to go back to tell you about something, which is that when I need to move from the context diagram toward the level 0 diagram, I need to make sure that all the data flows that existed in the context diagram need to be conserved and placed into the level 0. What I mean, at the end, I will make sure when I finish my level 0 that the customer with the system, I have 3 data flows: order, credit card payment, and receipt. Kitchen chef and the system, there only one data flow, which is the food orders. The system and the restaurant manager, there is only one data flow, which is the management report. The system and the bank, there is 2 data flow: the withdrawal request and withdrawal approval. When removing that and putting different processes, I will at the end check out if I have 3 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 2 here, to make sure that I didn't add any new data flow with external entities, and I didn't remove any data flow with the external entities. Okay, well, that's a tip. Well, as we can see here, what do we have? We have the name. We put handle order. So why did we put handle order? However, here we put order and food order. As a rule, for the data flow diagrams, a process should start with a verb. However, data flow names should be only a noun. So data flow names are a noun, and that and process names should start with a verb. Okay, so let's continue to check out the different tasks also of level 0. So we've just finished 2 data flows now. Let's continue. So the second, the second task, the second process is an internal one. This one that we talked about it in context diagram, it's an internal one. Monitors goods sold and inventory. It's something, a task that is done internally by the system, and it doesn't deal actually with any data flow. Okay, so it's a process to monitor the inventory and the sales. And when I need to monitor something, it means I have to store it to check out, well, if what do I have a rest from inventory, what kind of sales I sold throughout a full month or a full week. Anyways, I need to store this information. Okay, so I place a process, a second process. I can see that this is called 1 because that's the first thing that happens in the system, and this is called 2, monitor goods and inventory. Well, this requires an input and an output. So what does it need as an input? It requires, when it needs to monitor goods and inventory, it means it needs to know what kind of orders happen. So it will take from the orders, handle order process, the ordered items to be able to store it in a data store. We'll use this shape from the lucid chart to represent a data store, call it D1. Okay, and this data store will be about the inventory and sales file. Okay, I need to connect my process to this data store. What do I need to store? The inventory changes and the sold items. Okay, next, I will check what's the next task done by the system. Generate reports. So it will generate different reports to the restaurant manager. I will need a new process to generate report of the sold goods and update an inventory to manager. Okay, so here I will put the third process number 3. The order should be according how the events happen. 1, handle order. 2nd, monitor goods. And 3rd, generate report. Okay, I place a verb first and then a noun, generate report, because I need to know what to generate. So generate report. And to generate reports, I need to get some information out from my data store about the inventory and the sales. Then this will, as an input to this process, as an output to the process, the reports will be sent to the restaurant manager. Fourth, the customer will pay. Okay, now all of this will be the process of payment. Customer will pay, system will check, send a request to check, the request to withdraw from the bank will approve, all about payment here. Okay, so it will all start from the customer when he needs to pay. So I can say that here I will have a new process which is handle payment. Handle payment, I place a fourth process called handle payment and I name it 4. So we said that the customer will be paying using his credit card or debit card. So credit card payment, I just use only credit card payment since the context diagram. So I'll just need to keep the same names of the data flows with the external entities. I cannot change them in level 0, neither in level 1. So order, food order, credit card payment, I made sure to keep the same names as the context diagram. Okay, so next I have, well, after it takes the payment from the customer, it needs to send a cash withdrawal request to the bank. Same process because still handling the payment. Okay, it will send a withdrawal request, data flow to the bank. Next, the bank will approve, still in the same process, and now the bank will be sending to the system. Okay, so bank, data flow, withdraw, approval to the handle payment. When the payment is done and approved, the system is responsible to generate a receipt, which is also part of finalizing the requirements of payment. So I'm still there Okay, especially in level 0, I can make that. Okay, so this will continue to be part of payment. And now I put a receipt to be generated to the customer. If I can see here, I have a data flow coming from the data store of sales up to the handle payment. Why do I need that? Because the receipt for the customer, for a specific customer, should contain information about his order, like item number 1 priced like that, item number 2 priced like this, and so on. So that's why I require a information or an input coming from the inventory and sales file, which contain the order sold details, and then it will be added to the receipt along with the sum of money and then sent to the customer. Okay. As I said at the beginning of this video, I need to check out that I placed all my data flow. So for customers, I mentioned at the beginning, I had 3 data flows: order, credit card payment, and receipt. I made sure that they are here also at the end of level 0. With kitchen chef, I had only one, which is food order, and I made sure that it's here. With restaurant manager, I only have one, management reports, and also it's here. And if you go back to the context diagram, we kept exactly the same names. With the bank, we had 2, withdraw request and withdraw approval. Okay, and that's my level 0. In my next video, I'll be showing you how to develop level 1 for the same case study.